Hey, welcome back everyone to another Company Fears 2 replay cast. And this time, it's gonna be a 4v4 on steps. My god. Oh no. A 4v4 on steps. Oh no. Anyway, as you can see, it is sent in by Umbakant and my good buddy, Galling Squad 422. And his friends are gonna be, well, OKWCS, what? CDST Hi Gopnik Sukbliet. Oh, that's why there's some Russians anyway. We'll get to them later. First, let's check out the last German. It is Mayday. On the opposing team, of course, it's 2 OKW2 Wehrmacht. On the opposing team, we have Cold Wind as the UKF. Doctor Feels Good 93, or Feel Good 93, Soviets. Another Soviets, C-33, and Strafnaya Rota as the Americans. Wonder what that means. I actually don't know what Strafnaya means, like penal. Strafnik, which means penal guy, person. Strafnaya Rota. What does? Oh, it's a film. It's a like battalion. Oh right, it's that famous film. Actually, it's a very famous film. Penal battalion. Anyway, well. What do we have here? What are we gonna do? Well, actually, it's more like penal company now, is it? Because battalion would be battalion. Wow, have we been lied to? It's not penal battalions, it's penal company. Wow. We've been lied to the whole time. Anyway, we have, of course, steps. So there's gonna be a lot of annoying engagements at the start. Shabudet anekdot. Yes, it will be an anecdote. Почему баби смотрят порно до конца? Why do, like, babushkas, you know, grandmothers watch porn to the end? Потому что они думают, что актеры в конце поженятся. Because they think that the actors will, like, marry at the end. Ахахахаха, лол. Но там только кашмот. But there's only kashmot, kamshot there. There's only sex there. And the old people, the babushkas, are so naive. What are they doing? They only think about weddings and all of that. Oh my god, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Anyway, let's get back to the action. There's just a mess going on. There's this massive amount of Soviet troops coming in, and these Stern Pioneers are a little bit in the middle of it all, and they're gonna retreat away as soon as possible. I'm not sure how they got back here in the middle of all those Soviet troops, but in the end, that allowed their sacrifice, their glorious sacrifice, allowed these German infantry troops to set up some defenses around here. Wasn't enough to take all of these sandbags and build them up. Looks like more Grenadiers are going to get just completely massacred by Maxims. They're going to retreat for negative cover, and, they're only going to retreat halfway because they're going to get gunned down at the middle. In the meantime, in the south, we have these guys hiding behind the tank. However, the machine gun over here is going to prevent any Soviet troops from capturing that field point, which might not be any important at all because we have a massive just coalition of allied forces attacking through the north, or the north of the island, and that's going to allow them to come around, flank this machine gun. The machine gun is not turning around. OKW CDSTLI is, well, a little bit clumsy in his controls of the machine gun, and that's gonna mean that all of these guys get burned to death by combat engineers, and they get murdered by Maxims. So look, overall, looks like the Germans are not gonna have an easy time down south. The folks on your squad just barely getting away to tell his buddies what happened, and well, that's not gonna be good for the Germans. The entirety of the south is just overrun by swarms of allies, and the north and center, well, we have a bit of an attempt by the Allies to get into the center, but it's not going to work. The Brits are getting kind of massacred. There's the machine gun right over here taking some fire. Well, this one's taking some fire. This one's already taken some fire. It's dead now. And yeah, it's not looking good for them. Where is my phone? I don't know. See, I wanted to look at something on my phone, but it seems like I've lost my phone. Anyway, yeah, things are not going well for our Brits over here. They're getting massacred by the Volksgrenadiers. So the Allies losing on one side and the Germans winning on the other. Or, why am I stupid? The Germans losing on one side and the Allies losing on the other. So it's a little bit of a switcheroo. We have the Germans in the north. They're doing okay. They've got the cube wagon. It's mostly just the work of Unbekannt over here. So Unbekannt, quite good job over here destroying that British player. The British player Coldwind being pushed all the way back to the base. He's got the, you know, upgraded infantry squad sizes. But other than that, he's got nothing going for him. Only 3 infantry sections against a lot of Germany. And he does not want to face a lot of Germany with only 3 infantry squads. In the south, however, the Allies managed to basically just get set up in the southern island, which is quite important on steppes. Because, of course, there's this lovely fuel point down here, there's this lovely VP down here, and you can quite easily defend it from anyone that tries to come in to steal them from you because of all this lovely water. And so getting set up in that island is quite good. However, if the Germans can sort of gather up, get themselves back together from their loss and then attack through, not into the island, but attack through this sort of point. I wish there was like a draw tool or something with Committee Furious 2. If they could just kind of come through like this and get to the strategic point down here, they could cut off everything that's down here, not only in terms of points, but also in terms of units. That would be, of course, a pretty good move for the Germans. I'm not sure if they're going to think about that, though. They might try to assault the island directly, which in my opinion is going to be a disaster for them. There's just way too many allied units in the area. And as you can see, the firepower of freedom is just going to be unloaded into the face of those grenadiers, just having to retreat as soon as they can. And yeah, now that they've... I don't know what these Russians were up to earlier, but they're not talking anymore, and I'm sad because as much as it was cringy what they were talking about, it was kind of funny that they were just like, I don't know, just randomly talking. Like, why? That's one thing I like about Russians. They just say random things in Russian because they think that people don't understand them. And, well, most of the times they're right. It's just funny because of that. And, you know, no offense if you're Russian. I love you. Yeah, you тебя. And yeah, down here we have another attempt by these lovely infantry sections to attack through, but it's just not going good for Coldwind. He's not having a good day. Look at that. All of his poor infantry sections are taking a lot of damage. However, Potato Masher is going to come through. Mills Bomb does do a little bit of damage to that machine gun, and now the conscripts are trying to follow up on that, and that could be quite good. However, there's a lot of Germany over here on the hill, and so I'm pretty sure that these conscripts are going to get forced back. Anyway, of course, that's pretty good of the conscripts to attempt to do that because, ooh, interesting. Because, as you can see, the Germans, no, not the Germans, the Allies, have managed to secure the south pretty much completely. So it's good to branch out for our good Allied players. They want to put up a lot of pressure on the Germans, basically the entirety of the time, in the entirety of the map. That's gonna do quite well for them. The problem is, oh, 2 conscript squads going down for Dr. Feelgood. Definitely didn't feel good for that. I'm so funny. Anyway, I'm about as funny as those Russians are. And here comes a massive horde of America. 25 American GIs just charging in, 4 rifleman squads and the captain. However, this machine gun is going to get some good fire down on them from the hill, and that's going to basically force them back. However, it's just too many riflemen. The riflemen try to flank. They run into another MG44, and they're going to be forced back. So that's pretty bad for them. Strafnaya Rota, definitely using those Strafniki tactics, just charging in with those infantry units. The problem is it didn't really work out well for him. Right now, the Zissou is doing quite well, just kind of derping away with the machine guns at the German infantry. The problem is, the Germans probably have something to deal with it. Well, not only Rakenwerfers, but also Lux is in the area. No anti-tank for the Allies, and that's probably going to mean the end of that half-track. Lux isn't exactly the best vehicle against enemy-like vehicles, but it is better than nothing. And the Lux probably should not be if I were completely honest, the Lux should not be chasing over here, because what do they know about this area? They know nothing. He could be running into a mine, he could be running into a tank gun, he could be running into a heck of a lot of infantry. So it was actually a good move by Unbekannt to not chase through that half-track. It wasn't, okay, so it wasn't a good move overall because he could have just chased it down and killed it like a dog. Considering what he knew, though, of the enemy forces, stopping was the correct move. So I guess it wasn't a good move, it was a correct move. So though, quite good for Mukant that he's going to save that Lux. He's got Fallschirmjäger, so Luftwaffe ground forces, and he's going to use those to capture up the north. The problem is there's an infantry section with some Brenns, and probably has something to say about that. You know who else has something to say about something else? It is the Lux that can probably come in and smash these infantry sections. However, the Lux is going to have some job to do over here. There's a massive Soviet push, and the Americans are supporting it. Here comes some Molotovs. One of those conscript squads died, and so now the rest of the guys are going to be pretty angry. We have a triple cap going for the Allies. That's, of course, quite good. The Germans not really having the best of times. Looks like the Fallschirmjäger is getting into close range, and the grenade is going to miss. So probably those FG-42s versus the Brenns going to go the way of the FG-42s, but they both retreat, decide that perhaps, you know, life isn't worth living if you're shooting at each other, and get back to base. In the center, we have a pretty big push coming in from all these American, you know, swarms, and that's an interesting choice. Bazookas for everyone. Definitely, Strafnaya Rota is a little bit afraid of enemy vehicles. Should he be afraid of enemy vehicles? That's another question. CDTLSI or TSLI, CDTSLI, SLY, doesn't have any vehicles that he can bring out, so no. Galleon Squad is going for the mechanized, but he's going for the KT. I know that already because of the title of the email. He's going to go for a KT, and I feel like that's a good idea overall anyway. So, Mayday. He's got the Leichte Mechanized Company, of course, and Battle Phase 3, so he could go for Tier 4. So at least Mr. Mayday can go for some heavy armor, and of course Ubekant has mechanized regiment headquarters, and he's going for another Lux. So yes, probably getting all those bazookas is going to be quite helpful against the Luxes, but the bazookas aren't going to be everywhere every time. As you can see, the Lux can take care of enemy infantry units whenever those bazookas aren't around. So taking advantage of that, capitalizing on their absence, getting in the Lux is of course the good move for Ubekant. The Lux is just a very mobile unit, so you can really avoid those bazookas with the line of sight, with the mobility that it does have, basically all the time, and then come back around when you least expect it. Maybe where you can draw them into a machine gun with the Lux, get them to be suppressed or something, and to retreat, and then you can come in with the Lux and sweep in and do some damage. That's just an option, though. He could also just use the Lux a little bit more sparingly as a whole. He's of course also got the stealth on the Lux, so that could be quite dangerous. Right now the Allies are going for a Cromwell, at least Coldwind is going for a Cromwell. And the other allies, I'm not sure what kind of teching they're going for. Well, we have the Easy 8s coming through for Strafnaya Rota, who has gone for the Rifle Company. Crying at manly tier as always for getting nerfed. And feels good is Soviet industry, the best doctrine in the game, comrade. It is my favorite doctrine, and now we have T-34 spam coming through for him. Very, very good, comrades. I really like the Soviet industry, of course. They're gonna be not as useful as they used to, though, with the T-34 spam, because the reason that T-34 spam was just amazing was that you could spam repair stations. By the way, the Cromwell's gonna die. I'm not even gonna have to. Oh, nice, actually. Mapaxwagen, well done. I mean, it's just obvious the Galleon Squad watches my cast because he builds the thing. It's amazing. I feel like if you watch my shit, you see me praise the Mapaxwagen so much, and you see it just being so useful that you can never not build it. Anyway, unfortunately, Mapaxwagen went down to the Cromwell, but Mapaxwagen is actually relatively useful as a bait because it telegraphs its position away to the enemy by having those like little lights on the map that are visible to the enemy. So the enemy is going to think like, haha, I need to stop that thing. But the Mapaxwagen isn't that expensive, so if they come in and sacrifice a more expensive unit to, you know, kill the Mapaxwagen, it's like all in your interest, you know? You can build another Mapaxwagen if you want. Whereas it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to rebuild a Cromwell. Hey, it's basically 100 more fuel to get a Cromwell, right? Because the Cromwell's 105? Is it? And I'm sorry if I'm not really paying too much attention to what is actually going on around the battlefield. Oh, the Cromwell's 120. Whoa. Expensive. So we have the allied version of the Mapaxwagen, which is the Valentine. A little bit more expensive. That's because it can, you know, shoot at infantry and kill them. And yeah, Valentine not as good of a unit as the Mappax-Wagen, because I feel like part of the charm of the Mappax-Wagen is just the fact that it's so cheap and so useful, whereas the Valentine is actually relatively expensive. It's like 80 fuel or something. Yeah, 80 fuel and 300 manpower. So it's just a slightly more expensive than the T70, and it can do basically the same things, except it can do more of them. So I guess it's better than the T70 in terms of cost effectiveness. But it's not as good as the T70 in terms of, I guess, timing, because it comes in very, very late. As you can see, it's 15 minutes in, and we have the Valentine. T70 would have been on the field like 5 or 6 minutes ago, and I'm using the T70 as a frame of reference because it's like the premier Allied light vehicle. It's like the one you can't go wrong with, basically at any time. And now using the Mappax, pretty good. The problem is he knows that there's anti-tank guns and stuff around here, so he needs to run away. We have actually the Valentine using one of its abilities. Wait, no, it didn't. What's causing that artillery? Oh, just the concentration barrage. Anyway, North being retaken by the Germans, actually by a cube wagon. So Ubukhan still has that cube wagon. He's got 2 Luxes and a couple of, you know, Fallschirmjägers. That's quite good. We have a lot of T-34 and M4C Sherman. M4C Sherman? Am I retarded? I think I saw an M4C Sherman, but it probably was just... Hey, the Easy-8 is dead. Or wasn't Easy-8 ever on the field? I feel like yeah, okay, so that was an Easy-8, okay. See, it felt like an M4C. I don't know, anyway. The reason I was saying that Soviet industry isn't as good as it used to be with the T-34 spam rather than the, like, playing normally, getting some Su-85s, maybe a T-34, and then going for the KV-2, is that the reason the T-34 spam strategy was good with the Soviet industry was that those repair stations costed only munitions. So you could get a lot of T-34s, and you could spend a lot of manpower and a lot of fuel on those, and you would still, you know, have a lot of munitions to get those repair stations going, so that you could, two repairs, 2 Soviet industries. Okay, interesting. So you could get, you know, have one resource, I guess, going to the construction of repair stations. And whenever your T-34s would get vetted up, rather, you would get, of course, the ability to cap. So you could do basically everything with your T-34s. You could scout, you could be the main killer sort of force with the T-34s. You could assault, you could flank, you could cap even. So you could do basically everything, and you wouldn't even need that many engineers around because you could just, whenever you take a little bit of damage on one T-34, go back to the repair stations. This is a little bit not that needed if you have 2 guys with the repair stations, of course. Right now, the repair stations cost manpower and fuel to build, which is the reason why I'm talking about all of this. Although, well done by Umbakant getting all of his anti-tank together and killing one of those lovely medium tanks. Also, of course, the Axis are going to need to be a little bit careful about this KV-8. KV-8 spewing fire all over the German troops. That's going to be not easy to counter at all. And right now in the north, it looks like the Allies are just kind of pulling in everything they have into the north. There are a few mines around that I've seen. Probably they were just around here. Well, I don't see these mines anymore. One exploded over here. That's unfortunate because if there were some mines, I feel like they could be very, very useful at dealing with the KV-8. However, what's going to be very useful at dealing with the KV-8 is also going to be just the Panther. Panther going to come in and be like, hello, my friend. You're not really able to stand up to me. Problem is there's a few other units around here that can help out with the KV-8, and the KV-8 does have a fair bit of HP. Although this M4C is charging into some anti-tank guns, we have a massive white phosphorus strike, which actually hits nothing. It was just a lot of fireworks. Looks like a tank went down over there. That was the Centaur ACAC to the German OKW infantry. And yeah, the Staliniets over here, the Stalin's T-34 is, well, not going to have an easy time. He's very damaged, and for some reason he's not getting any repairs. Of course, that means that this Panther can just kind of come in and kill him. The Panther knows that he's getting spotted by the map hacks by the Brits. I guess you could call this the MK Ultra, because it's the Brits, but we know that the MK Ultra is the Americans. I guess the bomb was the British, like, counterintelligence thing. It was a thing. It was like, I'm not sure what you could call it, like a decryption machine, I guess it could be. Yeah. I don't know. This thing is just, what should I call this? If you guys have a good nickname for the Matilda, or not the Matilda, the Valentine, like, do tell. Anyway, Panzer first coming through. That was pathetic. That missed everything. This one didn't. Getting the wipe on one rifleman squad. Well done. So one of those Panzerwerfers doing well, the other one not doing so well. But in the north, we have a big push from the not the Americans, the Allies. The Allies getting behind that Panther, getting some good anti-tank grenades on them from the conscripts, and now the M4Cs and T-34s are just gonna run through and kill it. The problem is there's a lot of Raketenwerfer around here. However, the White Phosphorus is coming down, and the White Phosphorus is gonna force all of the Raketenwerfers back. Raketenwerfers taking a massive amount of fire, and they're probably gonna be destroyed by the KV-8. The KV-8 chases through. We have some smoke attempt by the German Wehrmacht player. What? Who dropped that smoke? That was a Wehrmacht, like, smoke run, but I don't see any Wehrmacht guys with the smoke. What? Might have been the officer? I don't know what caused that smoke. Anyway, the Allies are just running in. There's nothing that the Germans seem to be able to do. There's a Jagdpanzer chasing for some reason. Gallant Squad right now is trying to get into a good line of sight to kill this T-30, or not T-34, KV-8. The T-34s are running away from that drive-by. Looks like a lot of Allied vehicles, though, died during that. I mean, the Panther died. Something died there. Must have been a T-34. I'm not sure what happened to all the British vehicles, but looks like this KV-8 is going to die, although it does bounce a shot from the Jagdpanzer. And is it going to be the last shot? It bounces. Although, I mean... It bounced again. I'm not sure what flare is this. I mean, someone's using a flare. It bounced again, and finally the Raketenwerfer from the side. That was 4 bounces in a row from a Jagdpanzer. That's really, really rare. Anyway, we have the priest spam. Actually, no, it's not a spam. It's only one priest, but there was a second priest. It's that. It's not the priests. It's the sextons. I keep forgetting because I'm so used to Company of Heroes 1. This is just the Company of Heroes 1 imprinting onto me. If it's a British SPG, it's a fucking priest ready to destroy you. That's just... I don't know, it's imprinting. There's nothing you can do about it. Anyway, the south is still under the control of the Allies. This time, see, at the beginning, this would have been relatively dangerous. There's 4 machine guns down here, 3 of them just fleshy machine guns, and 1 of them a fighting position. I don't know. At this point, I feel like the Axis could really send something down there, and anything would do at this point. They would all be able to deal with those machine guns relatively well. T-34 charges in, tries to do something against the Jagdpanzer, and, well, gets behind it. Oh, a lot more T-34s. Yeah, this is not looking good for the Jagdpanzer. And there's also an Easy 8 coming through. That's just a surround. It's just a gangbang. Call the police, please. And, yeah, the other Allied tanks, I mean, there's another attempt at a push from the Valentine. The Valentine's getting into the Raketenwerfers. Actually, no, sorry, the Panzerwerfers. Probably one of them is going to die. Is it going to be able to get the last shot in? Yeah. 2 shots, Panzerwerfers, well done. Looks like some Allied tanks going down in that engagement, and the Allies establishing that triple cap. There's also some, not Overwatch, Company Fears 1 British imprinting. Airburst shells falling down on the Schwer Panzer headquarters, almost destroying it. In fact, I think that Matilda could have called in the concentrated barrage. I feel like that would have been a good idea, because that does not really care about, like, the cooldown of any of these things. However, it looks like the Sexton is going to die from the Panzerschrecks, almost destroying the Schwer Panzer headquarters, and sacrificing itself for king and country, but really a little bit too late. This thing is almost dead, but Gallant Squad, does he really care? He's going for a lot of Raketenwerfers, and he's also breakthrough, so he's got Panzer Fusiliers, so it's not like he needs Obersoldaten in any way. Yeah, however, the Allies are doing quite well on the territory front. As you can see, they've got pretty much most of the points on the map. Map control definitely in their favor, but they're starting to lose a lot of vehicles in their engagements and their pushes. They're not really having the best of times. Even though they have all these repair stations, it's really starting to be a bit of a massacre every time they push in, and they're trying to build repair stations closer to the action instead of building, like, units and stuff. C-33 could go for the big KV-2, and in my opinion, it would be a great idea because KV-2 strong. And Feel Good has a lot of manpower, so he could be going for some anti-tank guns, I guess. Anti-tank guns wouldn't hurt. Conscripts wouldn't hurt. Well, anything wouldn't hurt with that 1,400 manpower. He's also got the KV-2 heavy assault tank, which is strong. But he does not have enough fuel for that. although the Soviets are getting a pretty massive amount of fuel from both controlling this other fuel point, and having 2 fuel caches, so it's not like they're really lacking for fuel. And what is the Sexton doing? It was trying to run over the German infantry. Oh my god. So Cold Wind right now, he's not a player anymore. He's Valentine. That's the only thing he's got. And yeah, that's not a good situation to be in if you're the Allies. Right now it seems like this T-34 might go down to the Jagdpanzer. Sorry. It's getting a little dark in here. Had to get the lights on. Otherwise my eyes would blow out of the bulges of, you know, all that, because there would be just the screen flashing. Yeah, I was talking about those mines. Just love it when that kind of shit happens. Unfortunately, yeah, the mines were trying to protect the LAFH, or maybe the LAFH was built there to protect against the RD, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, the T-34... Why did you do that? Okay, I'm going to have to pause to explain why this is retarded. The T-34 could have just shot at the cannon and killed the crew, and then just had a few more shots and it would have killed the gun. But then Strafnaya Rota decides to, you know, call in those white phosphorus barrage, which disables the main gun of the T-34 when the T-34 is in the smoke, and also prevents the T-34 from auto-firing. Почему, товарищ? Это не было хорошо. Anyway. Yeah, he's also trying to come in with the Easy-8s, and he's having some good successes at that. We have KV-2 Heavy Assault Tank. KV-2 Heavy Assault Tank completely missing. Did it just hit this building from all the way over here? That's hilarious. Anyway, completely missed the Rakenwerfer. Rakenwerfer, which is getting smoked by a mortar? I don't know anymore what's happening. Anyway, it's getting smoked by something, and the KV-2... I mean, the KV-2, really, the strong thing about the KV-2 is that firing positions. If you place this thing over here, it's going to fire through the trees and into that entire area. This T-34 is somehow still alive. And it's going to fire, yeah, from basically over here all the way to this entire hill area. And it's going to be very, very strong and useful. Looks like the LAFH artillery did survive that engagement. And I'm not sure what can be done to... I mean, he could build a medic bunker right around here. Could build a medic bunker and a reinforcement bunker to, you know, keep that thing topped up. I'm not sure what... Oh, he's going to repair it. At least he's going to repair it again. Well done by OKW. Definitely showcasing a little bit of presence of mind. He's also got a second LAFH right near the base, and a Panther. So he's definitely upgraded his arsenal quite a bit from the last time we've seen him. A few bunkers and all of that, trying to defend the center, but it's not really under any danger. In the north, we have another KV-2, strong KV-2. What is this? Zastalina, probably. Yeah, probably Zastalina. Anyway, trying to read what's written by the skin on the side of the turret, and not by the decals. You know, it's covered by the decals. And right now, yeah, I mean, this north, I don't think it's going to fall. The Jagdpanzer 470, yep, destroys the T-34. There's just way too much over here for the KV-2 strong tank to deal with. I'm not sure what this is. It's probably just a white phosphorus. If that was an incendiary artillery barrage, which, to be fair, there's no one that has incendiary artillery barrages, so that's just null and void. The Valentine's still around, still driving in, getting a few shots into the Panther and bouncing. You know, the KV-2 down here is basically king of the swamps. It's a bit of a Shrek character down here. There's nothing that any of these guys can do about it. The problem is, in these areas, if the Germans can really make a big, concerted, concentrated push against that KV, getting all of their big sort of medium tanks and tank destroyers into position, and they charge it at once at the KV-2, I think that they can take down these KV-2s separately. I think it would be better for these KV-2s if they were standing together. For example, one KV-2 here in the center and another KV-2 down here in the south. That way they could cover each other. If one of them is in danger, they could also just kind of both fire at the same area, and both covered a relatively large area and get some concentrated fire into some portions, some, you know, killing zones, I guess you could say. That would be around here. But hey, I'm not the one playing. And right now, the other problem that the Allies are facing with the KV-2 strong tanks is that they're a little bit far away from their repair stations, although the problem isn't in the south, it's in the north. We don't really see any repair stations up here for this KV-2, although the one in the south does have a few ready. Of course, the problem also is that the repair stations over here are going to get countered by the LFHs, so definitely good on OKW to get all these lovely, lovely artillery guns. The only counter right now that would be around, I guess, would be the concentration barrages from Cold Wind. And in fact, the fact that he's not trying to get those concentration barrages going is, well, a little bit of a shame. Right now, the Panther up here tries to get into the rear of that KV-2, but the KV-2 doesn't really care. Shoots at the the Jagdpanzer 470. Right now, it should be trying to get out of, you know, hold down mode and become mobile and try to run away, but at this point, I feel like it's too late. It's taking a lot of damage. It's marked? What marked it? This isn't a command Panther, is it? No. So what marked it? I guess it wasn't a marked vehicle, it was something else. Anyway, yeah, the Panther tries to come in, probably going to be able to destroy it, and Bliatsuka, that was well done by the KV-2, gets the kill at the last second, and as you can see, OKW is memeing about it in the chat. And actually, other KV-2 doesn't give a shit about anybody else, and charges in like good Soviet tank, and destroys one of the artillery pieces. However, here comes the German Big Papa Pump. Not only the Soviets can have the Big Papa Pump, also the Germans can. And right now, both of the Soviet big, strong KV-2s are dead. If armor is destroyed, we are heroes. And that's exactly what happened to these KV-2s. Right now, sure. Yeah, he's not happy. He's like, what? Въебало стрелять и не подавить. In the fuck shoots and doesn't something. I don't know what Padavich means, but oh well, he's not happy. He's definitely not happy about his predicament. And right now, oh no. Yeah, who's using that? Who's using that smoke run? I don't see anyone with the smoke run. No one's got smoke. What is that? Honestly, I don't know what this is. Like, usually the smoke bombs are an ability over here, but artillery field officer? No, I don't see any artillery field officers. I mean, I feel like the artillery field officer also uses, like, the mortar smoke and not the plain smoke. So what's causing those Stuka smoke bombs to fall down from the sky? I have no idea, man. This is actually very strange, and it's really putting me off. Anyway, King Tiger tries to push through the white phosphorus. It's taking a little bit of damage from all this Soviet and Allied fire. Nice, coming in with the Sherman Firefly. However, a massive concentration, not concentration, cluster bombing destroys it. Well done. And right now, yeah, there's another Sexton over here just kind of derping into the German lines. And at this point, it's doing some damage to... I feel like this was Umbekant's Schwerpanzer earlier. No, yeah, okay, it actually was Galleon Squads. Anyway, Galleon Squad is... does still have his lovely Schwerpanzer quarters, which is being repaired. Here comes a Stuka close air support from someone that was Umbekant. Oh, is it possible that these drop smoke bombs as well? Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure they don't. But, hey, you never know. I never even knew that they could use the Stuka close air supports, you know, anti-tank strafe until a few, like, games ago. So it might be that they're... No, attacking vehicles only. No, that they just changed it the last patch. Oh well, anyway, one of the guns is dead, but the Germans are just, yeah, they've learned their lessons against the Soviets. They're like, yeah, we gotta get more artillery. So, lots of guns coming in for our good German friends. Lots of mines, actually, all over the map for Umbekant. That's exactly what the Germans need to do, because these Allied players, as you can see, have a lot of mediums, or rather had a lot of mediums. Partially the reason why they don't have so many anymore is because they planted mines. And so, good lessons when the enemies have a lot of mediums and you have important targets in the backline to protect, such as Panzerwerfers, such as big howitzers. Always have those mines all over the place. just so you know, just so you're making sure they know who's the boss. You know, they come in, they try to do something to you, and you have those mines. Right now, another KV2 is on the field for Field Good, and there's also another KV2 right for the other guy. Wait, no, he's not going for another KV2. He's going for a half track. Guess he wants more for his infantry. I mean, he wants to, or maybe he's getting it for the AA. Right, that could be a good idea. Anyway, he's gonna need to get another KV2 soon. The KT is around, and the KT is okay against the KV2, but the KV2, considering honestly the cost difference, it does relatively well against the KT. The problem for the KV2 is gonna be the Jagdpanzer 470, which is gonna be very, very strong at supporting that KT. Also, there's one of the Lukes it's still alive, and it's actually got the stealth going pretty good. Using this thing as a scout, as you can see, just being quite nice. Now that they know where that KV2 is, they can come in and, oh no, I am a Jagdpanzer. And however, T-34 comes in and is like, hello, my friend, and sees this guy. So he's going to be like, nope, gets out. Forschemieger drop coming through. Looks like this T-34 is going to go down to a Panzerfaust, along with the help of that KT. Looks like we have a flank attempt from these Shermans, but the Germans have realized this. They turn around their KT, and that's going to be able to meet these Allied tanks face to face. However, the Allied tanks still able to get behind both the Jagdpanzer and the King Tiger. There's nothing else going on around the map, so the attention of all these guys is basically just focused on this engagement. The Lukes is still alive, actually. It does go down to the last shot. Well done by that Sherman. However, there's a lot of Germany coming through to counterattack. This could be potentially quite dangerous for our allied players. In fact, this Sherman is almost certainly going to go down. In fact, not only that, but these two Shermans are in trouble. They're getting chased by the Jagdpanzer into some pretty difficult terrain. There goes the one Sherman. There's still these two Stugs trying to push up from Mayday. The KV-2 heavy assault tank is taking a lot of fire from both artillery and tank destroyers, so this could be pretty bad for our good heavy tank. Also, here comes the Jagdpanzer. It's not able to get some auto shots in against the EZ-8 because the EZ-8s are getting repaired, and so they weren't really a viable target for the attack vehicles only. However, they do get back in. There's some shots coming in. There goes the KV-2 from the Stugs and possibly from the KT. No, the KT is getting repaired. There's a Firefly around that's trying to help out against the Stugs. Doing quite well. The Stugs are taking a lot of damage also from the bazooka blob, which is now finally getting its revenge on the Germans. Jagdpanzer still around. It hasn't managed to kill any of those EZ-8s, so that's of course quite good for a good, American player. Strafnaya Rota is able to come in, but now the KT is around, and the KT is probably gonna massacre all these riflemen. In the meantime, in the center, we have a big push coming in. It's a blob of doom from Mayday. He's gonna try to blob cap. However, as you can see, the XP tickers are just floating up like crazy from that Vickers machine gun. Nothing that can be done about that, and the Vickers is going to get a little bit of extra veterancy. Finally, Coldwind is getting something that's not a Valentine, but the Valentine is still around. It's still being useful, as you can see, providing map hacks for a good British player, and that's quite good. That's going to also allow his team to have better intel on what is going on around the center. So that's, of course, not bad at all. Yeah, as you can see right now, we have a bit of a push attempt from our good our good little Jagdpanzer. It's going to get into the Firefly and run away. A couple of Penals trying to come in and support against this thing, but they're going to die because there's just Fallschirmjägers around. Satchel Charge, you're going to get dodged, and yeah, the other Penal squad going to go down. Looks like we have a White Phosphorus falling down on that shack. Izba is going to be burning right now. In the south, what is happening down here, we have, well, Tiger on the field. Tiger is probably going to get countered by the Su-85 if it's not careful, but it's most likely going to kill that M5 half-track. M5 half-track, which could get saved. No, it's not going to get saved. Anyway, these combat engineers, yeah, they should be getting into that AT gun and helping out the Su-85 against the Tiger. Getting quite a bit of damage dealt to it. He could try to chase it down. Probably a bad idea. In the north, there are some repair stations around, but they're in a little bit of a bad position. Okay, so in terms of VPs, we have the Germans at 180 and the Allies at 214. Of course, this is kind of an expression of the fact that the Allies were winning earlier on when it comes to the map control side of things. So now they are definitely in a good position when it comes to the VP tickets. But the Germans are coming back. They've got the 2 northern VPs. They're winning the engagements, and so overall, it seems like they're on the rise, and the Allies are on the fall. So that's not good. That's not good for them. They need to find some way to deal with all of this sort of German-heavy stuff that's being thrown at them. And the best way to do that would be to kill the KT, of course. I feel like the best way to do that would be to just get around it and kill it with the EZ8s. I feel like if the EZ8s in that engagement earlier had just stayed around, instead of moving through to try to kill that Lux, if they had stayed around and killed the Jagdpanzer, I mean, one EZ8 would have died, but who gives a shit? They would have killed the Jagdpanzer, and then maybe they would have been able to buy enough time for the rest of the Soviet stuff over here to come in and help out against the KT as well. Now they're going to try to charge in, and the vet-free Jagdpanzer is in trouble, taking a lot of damage, probably going to die. In fact, it is going to die, and if one EZ8 is sacrificed to kill a vet-free Jagdpanzer, that would be a very good sacrifice indeed. In fact, it may seem like they're going to get away scot-free. Well done by those EZ8s, and now they can get back to their lines, repair, and do this all over again. That's exactly what the EZ8s need to do. That's exactly what Strafnaya Rota, if he's smart, is going to continue doing, but the KT thinks otherwise. It's going to chase against the EZ8s, actually might have the chance to kill the vet-free EZ8. It does. Bit of a sloppy retreat on this EZ8's part, because, I mean, if it was running away as fast as it could, there's no way in hell the King Tiger would have been able to catch it. And the King Tiger right now is being a bit of a bait. Yeah, we have a Firefly coming through trying to get behind it, and the other Firefly's trying to get behind the Jagdpanzer, but there's another Jagdpanzer. There's also a Stug over here that's also helping absorb some of these shots from the T-34s. There's some airstrike coming in. I'm not sure what that is. Lots of damage being dealt to the Allied infantry. Lots of damage being dealt to the Allied tanks. The German tanks, looks like they go down to the, I guess that was the concentrated artillery barrage. And, yeah, so only one Stug going down throughout all of that. And, well, maybe something else did die. I don't know. I don't care. Probably a T-34 or something. And, yeah, right now the Allies, let's check out what they have. Well, we have Says. Might be Says. I don't know. CE-33. CE-33, he's got, a lot of fuel, actually. Can I just switch to him? He's got a lot of fuel, not a lot of manpower. He could probably go for another KV-2 in a relatively short amount of time. We have T-34 spam coming through from Dr. Fieldgood, so no T-34s. Amazing concentrated cluster bombing. What's that even called? Concentration bombing? Fragmentation bombing. Doing a lot of damage and nice stack overflow of tanks. Yeah, they are stacking up some tanks and they're getting stunned for that. So it's not like it's working out for them. And at this point, of course, with all those T-34s, the best way you could use them is flanking. So getting around and stacking them. Idi nachui. Fuck you, that means. So, yeah. Only for you. Only for you. That's hilarious. Yeah, OKW is not happy about all of this. I am, of course, very, very happy about all of this. Anyway, yeah, this focusing on your army is going to be retreating away from these EZ8s, but the EZ8s are both damaged engine, so the Tiger right now is going to be like, hunting season. Gets in, is probably going to kill one of these EZ8s. There is a Vet-True Sherman Firefly, so that's not good for the Tiger, but what's not good for the Firefly is this Jagdpanzer 470. Gets a shot in, misses epically, just like 10 meters away. That was, he literally couldn't have hit the side of a barn with that shot. And yeah, that's going to allow the Sherman Firefly to run away safely. Still, not quite sure what the Allies are doing with all their resources. Strafnaya Rota, he's lost 2 EZ8s, well, one of them, and the other one's repairing, but he's getting a lot of EZ8s to repair, yeah, I guess rebuild his armored force. One of the tank destroyers goes down. That was a Jagdpanzer. We have T-34s ahoy getting in some rams against the Tiger, one of them in fact, and now they can get in behind, kill the Tiger. Well done, but the KT is still around and unscathed. One of the T-34s goes down. That was the rammer, that was the jihadist, and he's gonna be able to destroy all the other T-34s, I think. No, this one's gonna escape. However, there's a lot more German stuff coming through. There's just this continuous production of German TDs that is definitely outstripping the Allies. They're outproducing them, and they're out-trading them especially. I mean, the Allies are really starting to lose their resource edge, especially in terms of manpower, whereas the Germans, as you can see, they're still able to replenish whatever they lose. So that's, of course, quite good. Not for Mayday, though. Mayday's going to do a little bit of a Mayday with a Stug. A Stug goes down, and he doesn't have any more fuel left. So other than him, the Germans are doing quite well. The KT starting to get a few kills. This Sherman, I'm not sure what it's doing. It should definitely wait for its buddies to come in and attack. And right now, yeah, okay. The Sexton is around and doing some damage to all of this, but it's, yeah. It's going to be a little bit futile. If the Axis infantry can push in and get some good defenses set up, I don't think that the Allies are going to have an easy time dislodging them. Speaking of dislodging, there's a little bit of a prodding and pushing going on from OKW into the south. He's only got 2 artillery guns left, but these are vetted up, and they're doing quite the good job at sort of softening up the south, along with his sort of constant pushing, that the Allies are sort of feeling like they have to send more units down here, which is helping out his allies indirectly by allowing them to face less enemies on the battlefield up in the north. That's, of course, very, very strong for them. 2 Jagdpanzers. Oh my god. 2 Jagdpanzers. That's pretty absurd. Yeah. What is this? Is that like sector artillery? Perimeter overwatch. Sorry. Well, it is the same as sector artillery in my defense. Well, it's not really the same. Sector artillery just kind of automatically targets there, whereas perimeter overwatch requires like the base artillery for the British to fire or something like that. Yeah, as you can see, they take like a while to aim and fire and all that. This is just a bad ability. Where are they even firing at? Looks like over here. That's not even in the perimeter. It's not even in the perimeter that they are overwatching. I don't know. Whatever. KT's still around. That's a bad place to put your KT, by the way. You don't know anything of what is going on around here, and all of your infantry is not anywhere to, you know, help out the KT. However, I feel like some explosions are happening, so I'm guessing that this is good for the Germans. In the south, the Allies are pushing in actually quite well. Of course, we have SES, or SEV-33, or SEV-33, or C-33, or whatever his name is. He's going to be able to destroy this Panther. No! It bounced. That's lucky. Still, he's pushing in. The problem is, the VPs are all up north. This is steppes. So the 2 VPs are in the north, and this is not looking good for the VP saturation of the Allies, in fact. The Germans are down to 131, but the Allies are down to 164, and 2 of the northern points are under the control of the Axis in a pretty stable manner. All these Fallschirmjägers are going to make sure that there's a lot of Panzerfaust action that's going to come through on these Shermans. Lots of engines are going to be damaged. 2 Jagdpanzers catching these guys in a crossfire along with the KT. KT getting in behind them. Now the Jagdpanzers are going to try to run away, but the Easy-8s are relentless and they're actually charging in. This could be bad if they can get behind the Jagdpanzers, but the Jagdpanzers, relatively fast tank destroyers, relatively maneuverable and nimble. They're going to be able to essentially kite back these Easy-8s. One of them, of course, goes down, but that's still a lot of damage being inflicted to these Easy-8s. I wonder if this Jagdpanzer is going to be able to get a kill on one of these. It is. And now it's going to try to get these guys to the sorry, not Jagd-Tiger, the King Tiger. But the King Tiger has problems of his own. He's getting attacked by the Bazooka Horde. The Bazooka Horde is dying to it. However, the Jagdpanzer goes down. And so the Easy-8s that are now over here are going to have a relatively easy time escaping away from the other Jagdpanzer. Here comes Kiwi 2 Strong Tank from Dr. Fieldgood. However, I don't think that KV2 Strong Tank is going to be strong enough to take on both Ayak Panzer 470 and the Königstiger. The Königstiger does take a bit of damage from that 152 massive Soviet gun. Derp of Doom, Stalinium rounds smashing into the frontal armor of the King Tiger. And now, well done. What is this smoke run? Seriously, if anyone has any idea of what the smoke run is, please tell me, because I have no idea what's causing that. That smoke run has been saving the lives of the Germans. Well, maybe not, like, so radically saving the lives, but yeah. This King Tiger probably is gonna dive to the KV2 Heavy Assault Tank. No, it bounces. It does not get the finishing blow off on the King Tiger. So right now the KT is still around, and there's our cannon river over here. Yeah, Dr. Fieldhead is not happy about that. He's not happy about that at all. And yeah, when Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, we'll all be gay then, hurrah. He's definitely not happy about that. He probably deserved the kill on that KT. He was coming in with that KV2 so hot, and then in the end he was denied by an inexisting smoke strike. Suka mraz Karavlievskaya. 3 raza nie probit. Yeah, it didn't penetrate 3 times. And, oh no, C-33 replaced by the... Oh. Wait, he was doing quite well. Wait, I mean, he's got 3 machine guns on the field at 49 minutes, so perhaps he wasn't doing quite well. But look at that, he's pushed all the way to the enemy base. He's got some fuel, and oh no, they surrender. What? Что происходит? Я не знаю. I do not know what happened. The Allies could have won. I mean, it's not like they're in that bad of a position. Like, yeah, sure, they weren't doing as well as they were like 30 minutes ago. But, I mean, finally, this guy, Coldwind, was starting to become useful in some way. Oh no, the Valentine died! No! My favorite unit this entire game died. I wonder what killed it. I feel like it probably died in one of these pushes up here. I faintly remember a Valentine throwing itself into the fray and dying. Anyway, Umakant only has infantry. I mean, a lot of it, and a lot of good one. But it's still just infantry. And eventually he would have been able to get something else on the field, probably a KT. But, I mean, they almost dealt with 1 KT. They can probably deal with another. The KT, I mean... They almost killed it that one time. They could have tried again, and instead of just sending in like the KV2 of democracy or Stalinism, he could have, I guess, sent it in with the tank destroyers and the medium tanks. There's still 3 Easy 8s around. They probably just surrendered because their buddy dropped out because he disconnected. Anyway, that's just sad. It would have been fun to see the ending of this, although it probably would have gone to like an hour and 25 minutes. So I guess I'm not that pissed about that, because yeah, I've been getting a few 1.5-hour games lately. Well, maybe not an hour and a half, but I don't know if I could take the one. It would have been fun though. I mean, it was going pretty well so far. Anyway, that's just kind of sad. That's just very, very sad. Still pretty funny. Pretty funny. These Russians were funny people. Yeah, especially when the guy said, you know, blah blah blah, suka bliat, and 3 times my KV2 did not penetrate, even though it was only like once. And then, where did those smoke bombs come from? Okay, can somebody please tell me, where did those smoke bombs come from? I honestly have no idea. Like, I do not know. I legitimately just do not know. What was calling in those smoke bombs? Like, as far as I know, that's only something that the certain Wehrmacht doctrines can get. And it's not like I see anyone that can call in smoke bombs. I mean, these guys have smoke grenades, and this is a... Oh! Well, that's new. Stuka smoke reconnaissance. Available aircraft will make a reconnaissance pass on the targeted location to reveal enemy forces before dropping smoke. I just thought it was a normal recon run because it's the same icon. Thanks, Relic. Wow, I didn't even know that they changed that. That's hilarious. Right, because of the doctrinary work. But yeah, I knew it must have been something like that. It must have been something that came from the doctrinary work. That's funny. It actually costs less than a normal recon run. So I have a normal recon run for reference. Like, I know the American one, which is pretty pathetic, is 60 munitions, and it's just a pass. It's not even like a hover. And the Soviet one, I believe it's like 60. This one is 40. Reconnaissance pass on targeted location and drop smoke. That's pretty good. I don't even know anymore. Whatever. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.